Hello, welcome to Movies I Love with yours truly, Nomfanelo. So this film that I'll be talking about is a fun one, which is Action Jackson, which is a 1988 action movie that's directed by Craig R. Baxley, which was his directorial debut, and he had a background in the stunt realm as a performer and as a coordinator. So the film stars Carl Weathers, Vanity, Sharon Stone, and Craig T. Nelson. So, as a kid growing up watching action movies from the 80s and 90s with stars such as Jackie Chan, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and Stallone, Jean Claude Van Damme, this film was in my wheelhouse for me. So, is the story of this movie great? No. I mean, it has a simple premise in terms of Carl Weathers playing the titular character, where he is investigating these series of deaths revolving around union workers, and and stuff goes down from there. So, yeah, this is a fun, cheesy action movie. So where you could just turn off your brain for the next. Well, it's less than 2 hours. I don't have the runtime on me, but you'll just get a kick out of this movie. So let's go on to the reasons why I love this movie. So I wasn't sure what to call this because I would say technically action scenes, but it's more like over the top action scenes and deaths. So I with a movie that's directed by a person that is familiar with stunts, I say it's great to have that as a skill set because really with the action scenes with this movie were fantastic in my opinion. And it's so funny how a lot of them were like over the top and probably did not make sense. But again, if you've seen these types of movies before, you'll certainly enjoy these ones. So the opening sequence is an example because essentially you have one of the union workers where he gets stalked and killed by these group of, I guess, mercenaries, or let's just say bad guys, where according to Wikipedia, it says that the union officials were murdered by shadowy, almost supernatural killers, which I don't think that was the case when they filmed this movie. I don't think they're supernatural at all. Like I think they just probably they wanted them to appear, disappear, but no, they do not have supernatural powers. But it was hilarious that that's on the Wikipedia page of this movie. And also, too, what I love is the one liners. So, here are some examples from this movie: hot, hotter, hottest, lessons over. It's hot dog time, keep your on, and how do you like your ribs? So, yeah, those are hilarious. And again, if you've watched these types of movies before, this is no different. And usually with a lot of action movies from those eras have a lot of cheesy one-liners that probably may not make sense, but it is certainly entertaining and I would say memorable to quote. And also to what I love, which I dub the Joel Silver universe. So Joel Silver, he produced this movie. He has produced a lot of movies such as Lethal Weapon, Predator, Die Hard. So the cameos in this movie, like if you've seen either any of his productions or if you've seen any action films like from this era, like with the appearances in this movie, you'll know who they are. Maybe not know them by name, but you'll definitely recognize them by face. So I'm not going to reveal who they are. Well, I will mention that Bill Duke, he's in this movie, who was in Predator with Carl Weathers. He plays the captain, so essentially Carl Weathers' boss in this movie. And going off of that, so apparently the idea for this movie came from Carl Weathers while he was on set of Predator, where he had a conversation with Joel Silver where they shared their love of black exploitation movies, which led to the development of this movie. So, also too, what I liked is the music. It's fun. I loved the Pointer Sisters song that plays during the opening credits, and of course, no surprise since you have Vanity, she has two songs where one of them she performs live in this. I think she performs both of them. Sorry to correct that. And also, too, what I love is the transitions. They're honestly hilarious. So I'll just name an example. So with the opening scene, so after the union worker gets killed brutally, it's so funny that like when people react to his death, it immediately cuts to music with the opening credits, which was hilarious because it's, two different tones. But yeah, there's quite some notable examples of that throughout this movie that I do not want to spoil. And lastly, too, what I love, the performances. Again, this is not Shakespeare, this movie, but certainly it looked like everyone had a good time with this movie, whether they had a good or bad experience with this movie. But for me as a viewer, everyone's fine. It's fine because Carl Weathers was great as a titular role, and then you have Vanity. She was great. I would say for me, based on what I've seen in terms of her acting stuff, I would say for me, she did better in this movie than with The Last Dragon. And then of course Sharon Stone, like she's in a supporting role, is great, and of course Craig T. Nelson as the bad guy. And to be honest, like it's kind of different for me to see him as a bad guy because I've seen him as a good guy, like most notably The Incredibles as Mr. Incredible. So that was just interesting to see, and he really did a good job as a sadistic bad guy. And yeah, that's pretty much all what I have to say with this movie. And I do want to, note that the choice of weapons that the bad guys use, which I should have mentioned earlier. So the choice of weapons that the bad guys use, such as the butterfly knives and the bazooka gun, that was just hilarious. But also too, it puts the cherry on top for this movie. And yeah, so technically with this movie, it's a cult classic because even though it got negative reviews, it became a box office a success. And yeah, people seem to enjoy this movie. And no, like as I said, it's not the best in terms of the writing, but at the same time, it is what it is with this movie. So it somehow worked and it resonates with the audience. So I'd love to know, have you guys seen this movie? If so, what are your favorite moments? Do you have a favorite one-liner? And so forth. So I would love for you guys, those that have not seen this movie, please check it out. And I'll link where you could watch it in your area. And also, too, you could look for my socials in the description. And I just want to say thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I'll see you on the next one.